if you're watching this, you need to pay attention. I don't have long. And no, that's not some dramatic Halloween opener. I mean it. I'm whispering because the knocking started again 3 taps. Slow, like someone rehearsing a rhythm they don't quite understand. And before you ask, no, I'm not expecting anyone. Nobody say knocks at my door on Halloween. Not after what happened the last few years. My phone's been vibrating nonstop with an unknown number. Same one as last October. Same one as the October before that. I'm not answering it this time. Last year, when I did, all I heard was breathing my breathing, somehow, echoing back at me from a place I've never been. Look, most people think Halloween is a holiday. Candy, costumes, jump scares. Cute, fun, normal. For me, it's a warning. Every October something tries to reach through. Like this world is just thin plastic wrap and it's pressing its face against it, waiting for a weak spot. I used to think the stories I collected were random creepy. Sure, but disconnected. They're not. That's why I'm talking fast, and why I keep checking the corner behind me. I swear something moved there a minute ago. A shadow that didn't belong to anything. A shape that leaned forward as if it were trying to hear me better. These aren't just stories. They're warnings. And I shouldn't be telling them. I know that, but the symbols showed up again scratched into the wood just below my window. Fresh. Like fingernails dug it out, so either I talk, or it does. The 3 events I'm about to share, they look separate. Different towns, different people, different years. But there's a pattern. If you spot it before I point it out, tell me in the comments. Seriously, I need to know how obvious it is from the outside dot, and if you've ever seen this symbol, this crooked, twisted mark that looks like it's trying to pull itself into a circle, tell me right now. Because if you've seen it, it means you're already part of this. Make no mistake. Okay, I'm breathing. Give me a second. The knocking stopped. Or at least, I can't hear it anymore. If you're new here, by the way, I don't usually start videos like that. I don't usually make videos at all unless I'm desperate. And tonight definitely qualifies. For everyone who's been with me through the other case, this thank you. Last time, when I posted that audio clip with the whispers buried under the static, you all figured out there was a coded message hidden in it long before I did. You caught details I missed completely. The reversed consonants, the timestamps matching lunar phases. Honestly, I'm still not convinced that was coincidence. None of this feels like coincidence anymore. For a while, I tried to treat all of this like an archive. A weird little side hobby where I'd document strange encounters people sent me and try to make sense of them. But these 3 cases, the ones I'm sharing tonight, they're different. They're the most disturbing ones I've ever received. Not because of the scares, though. There are plenty of those, but because they line up 2 perfectly different years. Different towns. Different people who never knew each other. And yet every one of these events happened on Halloween, and every one of them involved the same phenomenon creeping in around the edges. Like it was testing the limits of what it could get away with. You'll see what I mean. Or maybe you'll see it before I do. Wouldn't be the first time. I'm trying to stay calm. Really. Talking to you all helps. But there's this feeling in the room. Like the air is waiting for something. Like it's listening. So I'm going to keep going. These 3 cases, they start innocent. Normal. That's the trick Halloween plays on you. Makes you think you're safe because everyone's pretending to be scared. These people weren't pretending. I was in college when this happened, sophomore year. Still pretending I knew what I wanted to do with my life. When the Hendersons asked if I could house a set for them over Halloween weekend, I said yes before they even finished the sentence. Easy money, a stocked kitchen, and a golden retriever named Milo, who was basically a sentient pillow? Yeah, sign me up. Half my dorm would have fought me for the chance. I got there just before sunset on October 30th, dragging my backpack up their ridiculous stone walkway like I was entering a magazine photo shoot. Their house wasn't creepy at all. In fact, it was aggressively wholesome, the kind of place with lemon-colored walls, potted plants that weren't dying, and family photos where everyone looked naturally happy instead of hostage-level posed. Even the air smelled nice, like lavender and wealth. Milo greeted me with this full-body wag that made it impossible not to crouch down and hug him. Best coworker I've ever had. Buddy, I told him as I scratched behind his ears. We're getting paid to hang out. This is peak capitalism. Inside, the house was warm and bright. Motion lights clicked on gently as I walked through the living room, which felt massive in that my entire apartment could fit in here twice kind of way. The kitchen made me want to start a cooking channel. The fridge practically hissed open with a soft, futuristic glow. Rich people fridges feel like science lab sleek shelves. Glass containers arranged like someone curated them. I fed Milo, took a tour of the place, and kept mentally adding up the money I'd make for basically doing nothing. A weekend away from roommates, noise, and the guy who kept stealing my oat milk? Yes, please. I'd planned on studying a little, maybe watching a movie, and definitely eating the expensive ice cream I found in the freezer. Life was good. That lasted about 40 minutes. It started with Milo. He was usually fearless. Shoe stealing, give me attention or I'll die level confident. But when I walked toward the hallway that led to the bedrooms, he froze. Completely froze. His nails clicked once on the hardwood, then he sat. Not in a cute way. In a I am not going one step further, and you cannot make me way. Milo, I said, patting my leg. Come on, dude. I need to grab my charger. He whimpered. Actually whimpered. And then he backed up, shaking his head like the air in that hallway smelled wrong. I should have listened to him. I walked down the hallway alone, feeling the temperature drop just slightly. Not enough to be alarming, but enough that goosebumps rose on my arms. The motion sensor light flicked on in the guest room to my left. Automatically. Except I hadn't gone in there, and the door was closed. I told myself it was just a glitch. Houses this fancy probably had motion sensors so sensitive they'd activate if a dust particle sneezed. Then, from the living room behind me, I heard a soft chime, the sound of the home's digital display turning on. I turned back. Across the house, on the bright panel mounted near the front door, glowing letters appeared. I stopped breathing. There was no one else here. The Hendersons were 3 states away. The security system should have been locked. And Milo, still sitting at the edge of the hallway, ears pinned back, staring like he expected something to appear behind me. I walked slowly back toward him, telling myself it was a sensor glitch, maybe a bug flying by the main entryway camera. Something normal. Something safe. But the house didn't feel safe anymore. That was just the beginning. The first big thing happened around midnight. I was curled up on the couch with Milo pressed against my leg, watching some old Halloween movie. I didn't realize the living room door, the one leading to the backyard, had drifted open until the wind pushed it hard enough to rattle the blinds. I flinched, grabbed the remote, and paused the movie. Milo's head shot up, and he growled. Not a playful rumble, a deep, unfamiliar sound I didn't know he could make. I walked to the door, locked it, double-checked it, then checked it again. It must have not been shut. All the way. That's what I told myself. 15 minutes later, the bedroom door opened. That one was impossible. I hadn't been in the bedroom yet. I'd left it closed, on purpose. The security tablet on the coffee table blinked awake and showed the live camera feed from the hallway, empty. It stayed empty, even as the door creaked open another inch. I stood there, heart climbing into my throat, staring at a feed that insisted nothing was happening. Then I heard whispering, soft, airy, coming from the vents above my head. At first I thought it was the air system kicking on, but the sound, it was too sharp, too deliberate, like someone mumbling words just under the volume of comprehension. I couldn't make out any actual syllables, but the cadence was unmistakably human. Asterisk, my phone buzzed. A text from Mrs. Henderson. Hey, just checking in, everything okay? Relief washed over me. A normal adult reaching out, untethered to reality. I typed back quickly. Yeah, all good. Just watching movies with Milo. House is great. I hit send. The message appeared in the chat for half a second. Then it vanished. I blinked, thinking maybe it didn't send properly. I typed again. Is your hallway sensor super sensitive? It keeps activating. Send. The bubble popped up, then disappeared. Like, the phone was deleting my replies before they reached anyone. Before I could try again, a sound played from the hallway. My voice. Asterisk, not speaking, laughing. A laugh I knew had come from earlier in the night when Milo did something goofy. I'd recorded a short audio message to my friend and never sent it. Now, it was playing on its own. Slow, distorted, like someone dragging their finger across the playback slider and letting the sound warp. That's when I lost it. I grabbed the nearest thing that could count as a weapon, a decorative ceramic bowl, and inched toward the hallway. Milo stayed behind the couch, shaken. The hallway was darker now, like the bulbs had dimmed on purpose. Shadows stretched wrong. I kept expecting something to step out of one of the open doors. Something did, but not down the hallway above it. Right near the attic hatch. I noticed the scratch marks first. Something carved into the wall around the frame. Lines intersecting, gnarled and ugly. A symbol that twisted into itself, looping but never forming a complete shape. The same symbol the narrator mentioned earlier. It looked fresh. White plaster dust still clung to the edges. Something had carved it tonight. I stared at it too long. That's when I heard it. Crawling, slow, heavy, right above me. In the ceiling. The kind of crawling that only something with weight and intention can make. Not a raccoon. Not a mouse. Something bigger. I stepped back. There was no way into the attic from outside. No ladder. No access panel, except the hatch right in front of me. And that hatch hadn't been opened in ages. I saw the dust, the untouched latch. Yet something was moving up there. Milo whimpered louder. I turned just in time to see him bolt behind the dining table, tail tucked, shaking like he was watching a predator stalk him. I'd like to say I was brave, that I stood there, demanded answers, lifted the hatch. But no! I'm alive because I didn't do any of that. I grabbed Milo, grabbed my keys, and sprinted out the front door so fast I nearly tripped on the steps. I didn't stop running until I reached the sidewalk across the street. When I turned back, the house was lit up. Every hallway light on, and in the hallway the one with the scratch marks. The one with the attic hatch hanging untouched. I saw a figure. Tall. Still. Facing me. No features, just darkness where a face should be. I called the police while backing away, shaking so hard the phone almost slipped from my hand. When they arrived, the Hendersons got involved over speakerphone. They insisted their home didn't have an attic. Said the space above the hallway wasn't accessible. Said the scratch marks must to have been there before. They weren't. I know they weren't. And if anyone recognizes the symbol I described, please comment. I don't care how weird it sounds. And security experts, how can footage glitch only in one direction? How can audio play by itself from files I never opened? Because the weirdest part, that symbol, it showed up again in a different story a year later. You ever notice how some places feel awake? Not haunted, not cursed, just aware of you. Like the walls are listening, the floors are waiting, and the air shifts a little differently when you breathe in. I tried to tell myself the symbol didn't matter, that it was just some old carving no one bothered to clean off. But the more I thought about it, the more wrong it felt. Things like that don't show up by accident, not where I found it. And here's the part that keeps bothering me. That wasn't the only time I saw it. Same shape. Same angles. Same feeling in my chest, like someone gently pressing a thumb right between my ribs. Once you notice it, you start replaying everything, checking every detail you ignored the first time. Pay attention to the time these events happened. Seriously, every hour, every time stamp. I didn't realize it until much later, but there's a pattern hiding in all of this one that links places, people, and something that moves in between them. And the next part of this story, it takes place on the road, a place that never really belongs to anyone, a place where things can follow you without ever being seen. I've been driving trucks for 18 years, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's that most horror stories start with somebody being stupid, taking shortcuts, ignoring warnings, pretending they know better than their GPS or their own gut. I always swore I wouldn't be that guy. I followed the routes, the regulations, the hours of service clock. But Halloween night, that was different. I was pulling a small load, nothing sensitive, nothing hazardous, just a batch of seasonal store displays. Easy run. Dispatch asked if I could squeeze in one last delivery before midnight. Think of it as a Halloween bonus, they said. They knew I liked holiday runs. The roads get quiet, the air gets sharp, and most drivers stay home with their kids. It's peaceful. Or it used to be. The night started normal enough. I rolled out of the loading dock with pumpkin-colored lights from the warehouse reflecting off my mirrors. The sky was clean, moon bright, stars flickering like someone sprinkled glitter over black paint. I clicked through radio stations until I landed on a Halloween mix. Corny sound effects, cackling witches, some DJ doing a Dracula voice way, too seriously. I even laughed at it. It kept me awake. The stretch of highway I was on was the kind truckers brag about. Long, open, smooth, no construction cones, no brake lights, no sudden traffic stops. Just endless asphalt and my headlights carving out a tunnel in the dark. I passed a few farmhouses, a barn or two, and miles of nothing. Only thing mildly spooky was a scarecrow in someone's field wearing a reflective vest. But that just made me chuckle. Safety first, I muttered to no one. Everything felt easy, predictable, ordinary. Until it didn't. Somewhere past the county line, my GPS pinged. The screen flickered once, twice, then rerouted itself. No recalculating. Just a clean shift, like it had always intended to send me a different way. The new path cut through a rural highway I didn't recognize. I frowned. Don't do this tonight, I told the device. But the alternative route was only 3 miles longer, and Google swore traffic was unusually heavy on my usual road. Strange, but not impossible. I turned. The moment I took the exit, the radio sputtered. The cheerful Halloween mix dissolved into static, but not the normal rushing kind. This static had structure, soft pulses, almost rhythmic. Then, woven under it, something whispered, my name. Slowly, badly, as if someone was learning how to shape the letters for the first time. I snapped the volume down. Weather interference? I told myself. Clear skies or not? Radio's glitch. But then the road signs started acting wrong. I passed one that said 42 miles to my next checkpoint. 5 minutes later, another sign read 44. I blinked. Road crews messing up again, I muttered, but I checked the GPS still saying 42. A glitch had to be. Except the next sign said 46. That's when the hair on my arm stood up. I tightened my grip on the wheel. Just get the delivery done, I told myself. But the road stretched on, swallowing time. Trees crowded the shoulder, branches reaching like bony fingers over the asphalt. The moon vanished behind clouds I hadn't seen forming. My headlights seemed dimmer even though I hadn't touched them. After about 20 minutes, I saw a structure emerge on the right, a rundown gas station. Boards over the windows, pump handles dangling like snapped limbs. The sign was faded, but the canopy lights flickered as if trying to wake up. I drove past it without slowing. Plenty of abandoned stations around here. Nothing unusual, daughter, so I thought. 10 minutes later, it came back. Same broken pumps, same flickering canopy, same crooked sign. I felt something slip cold down my spine. Okay, I whispered. No way I missed a turn. I checked my mirrors, checked the road, checked the horizon. All the same. My GPS insisted I was going straight, so I did, and then I passed the gas station a third time. This time, someone stood on the shoulder. Tall, like 6'7" or more. Thin like a power pole, with long arms hanging past their waist. They didn't move, didn't wave, didn't step back. They just watched my truck approach with their heads slightly tilted, like they were studying the way I breathed. I didn't slow down. Something deep in me screamed not to. My heart thudded as I checked my mirrors, expecting the figure to still be there, but the side mirror showed only darkness and a smear of fog beginning to gather behind me. I swallowed and forced myself to breathe. Get to the next stop, I whispered. Just keep driving. But then, my dashboard chimed passenger the ATA cité if. That alert only triggers when the seat sensor feels weight. I looked at the passenger seat, totally empty. No bags, no boxers, no one hiding. The windows fogged from the inside, not slowly, instantly, as if something exhaled all at once. My chest tightened. I grabbed at the defogger and cranked it, but the fog clung stubbornly to the glass. Then I heard it. Breathing, not mine. Slow, wet inhalations coming from behind the seat. I didn't look. Couldn't. My hands shook as I pushed the accelerator. The truck roared, engines straining, the road dissolving ahead into a curtain of thick white fog rolling out of nowhere. The headlights sliced only a few feet before fading. Shapes shifted inside it, bending, twitching, crawling. I kept going. I didn't care if I scraped a guardrail or hit a ditch. I needed out. Dispatch. Come on, pick up, I muttered as I fumbled for the radio. A high-pitched buzz answered me, followed by audio clicking like someone fast-forwarding through clips. Then my own voice played back. But I'd never said those words. Yeah, I'm on the road now. Yeah, I see it. No, I can't stop. It's coming closer. I dropped the radio like it bit me. No, what the hell is this? The road narrowed in the fog, collapsing into a tunnel of pale gray. My pulse hammered so hard I tasted blood. Something crawled across the asphalt ahead. Not an animal. Too big. Too many limbs. It scuttled with a scraping, clicking sound like bone on pavement. I slammed the brakes, tires screaming. The shape froze, then slowly lifted its head, or what I thought was its head. A long, stretched silhouette that didn't match any creature. I knew. My cab lights flickered, grabbed the steering wheel so hard my knuckles ached. Move, I hissed. Move, move, move. As if responding, the thing jerked out of sight, swallowed by the fog on the right side. The moment it vanished, my headlights brightened, slicing a few more precious feet into the haze. I took the chance and rammed the accelerator again. The breathing behind me grew louder, almost annoyed. Get out, I shouted, swinging my elbow back, hitting nothing but cold air. The fog outside thickened, pressing against the windows. Something tapped the glass. Once, twice, then dragged a nail across it. A sound etched itself into the windshields, carved lines, angles, a familiar shape. The same symbol from Story 1. I stared at it until tears broke free. How? The hell do you know that? I whispered, voice cracking. The symbol glowed faintly, like heat rising off metal. The fog tightened around the truck like a fist. I don't remember the next few minutes. My mind blanked out. Maybe I screamed. Maybe I prayed. Maybe I did nothing at all. But eventually, the fog thinned. Slowly, hesitantly, like it was deciding whether to let me go. The road widened. Color returned. Air felt real again. Then with a jolt so abrupt, it made the truck shudder. I burst out of the fog entirely. My eyes adjusted, expecting another loop, another gas station, another figure waiting. Instead, I was back at the loading dock. The same place I'd left hours earlier. Only the sun was rising. I checked the time. 7 hours had passed. 7 hours I had no memory of. My dispatcher rushed out, waving their arms. Where the hell have you been? Your tracker kept said you were looping the same half-mile stretch over and over. I tried to speak, but my throat felt scraped raw. Then my phone chimed. A new photo had appeared in my camera roll. No notification. No explanation. Just a single image timestamped during the missing hours. It showed the inside of my cab, my steering wheel, my dashboard. In the passenger seat, a blurry figure sitting perfectly still. Long arms, tilted head, eyes that reflected light like they were smiling. I deleted the photo, but the afterimage burned into my mind. Now I need to ask, Has anyone else had their GPS reroute them in circles like that? Like the map was pushing you somewhere? Truckers, have you ever looped a highway before? Same landmarks repeating like a broken record, because I know what I saw, and I know something saw me back. If you think a haunted house and a broken road are bad, wait until a person is involved. I didn't realize how tightly my hands were gripping the pages until my knuckles turned white. 2 cases. 2 completely different people. 2 different towns. Different years. And yet, the similarities line up like teeth in a closing trap. Both incidents happened on Halloween. Both witnesses reported time slipping, hours missing, minutes stretching, clocks lying. Both described seeing someone watching them. Not a ghost. Not a shadow. A person or something wearing the shape of one. And that symbol? Carved into a mirror frame in the first story, scratched into the windshield in the second. Same angles. Same looping curve. Same wrongness. I used to think symbols like that were coincidence? Pareidolia? The brain turning scratches into meaning because we're wired to find patterns in chaos. But chaos doesn't repeat across years. Chaos doesn't stalk people living hundreds of miles apart. Chaos doesn't whisper names through radios and peels back time like it's something it owns. Something is connecting these cases. Something patient. And if a house can warp reality, and a road can trap you like a mouth that doesn't close, then the next story scares me the most. Because this time, the phenomenon didn't stay in one place. It followed someone. Story 3. The man under the streetlight. I used to think these cases were separate random tragedies orbiting Halloween like debris around a dying star. But after everything you've heard tonight, you can see it too, right?
The pattern.
The timing. The way it watches. Whatever this thing is, it doesn't haunt places or linger on roads. It doesn't stalk people the way we understand stalking. It wakes up every year, every Halloween. And every time it does, it leaves that symbol behind, like a brand, a warning, or maybe a claim. Tonight, while I was recording this, I stepped outside for air, just for a moment, and there it was scratched into the paint on my front door. Fresh! Sharp. Waiting for me to notice. I didn't touch it. I didn't have to. The instant I saw it, I felt that pressure in my ribs, like something leaning close enough to breathe beside me. Here's the part I never wanted to say. If I disappear after posting this, someone needs to continue the archive. This can't die. Comment if you've seen the symbol, even if you think you're imagining it, especially if you're not. And there's another case, a 4th one. I never shared it because I hoped it didn't matter. But if you want it, if enough of you ask, I'll record it. Before I can't, I'm uploading this now. I think it's inside. And if you hear knocking within the next hour, don't open your door. It's never who you think it is.